Hi there, my name's Sela Bekin. I've done quite a few Electricomics now, most of them free, I think all of them free right now. I will do one that hopefully people will pay for shortly, but it's going to be donor pay, where you can download it and then if you like it, throw me a buck. Or 99 cents or 10 cents, whatever. Anyway, I digress. I've done quite a few of these now, so I thought when I did this one, I would record the process and show you how it's done. Now, there's no hard and fast rules with anything creative. There's no hard and fast rules. This is just my own theory of what works best for me. Fine. So we're not even going to start with Electricomics first. This first video is going to be about preparing your image files before you get going with it. So here we go. This is the first page that we're going to be doing right here. Now, this strip was actually drawn. This is the first strip I drew since Electricomics happened, which means I wasn't retroactively trying to fit it in. So I really could have drawn things to fit the Electricomic format. However, I've gone for a traditional comic book page format, and I'm still adapting it. Here we have the lettered page, and the reason I've done this is because I think the strength of this digital format is that it it uses the strength of comic books, the language that is innate to comic book. It's the same language innate to Electricomics, which I liked a lot, which means I like to try and be as traditional as possible, which means you could do an Electricomic in both portrait or landscape. Right now I've just chosen to do portrait because, as I said, that's really part of the language of comics, having a, this portrait shaped size comic book. Fine, so let's get started. So I've found that what works best is if you try and put a full comic page into Electricomic, then there's a bit too much data going on for the eye to really suck in. So for one traditional comic page, I do two-thirds. I do two-thirds of one traditional comic page per one Electricomic page. So this and the story kind of dictates how we're going to break it up. So this one, clearly we're going to have this main panel over here. That's going to be the first page, and these panels over here are going to be the second page. So first thing we're going to do is, let me think, where's all my stuff? Okay. Let's get rid of the lettering first so we can see things more clearly. And let's also, I got a bit of a bleed here, so let's get rid of that. 6.75 inches by 10.25, I believe, is standard. This is the standard that I work for. Proceed. Now we want to make it the right width for the Electricomics, which I believe is 768. 768 by 1024, but as you can see, it's a bit too tall. But that's fine because we're going to be cutting it up. So, doink. Let's scooch it down, then zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Now, I think we're going to have the first page have a color of elements in it. So let's start with the image. I think this will make quite a nice first page. So I'm going to copy that. And then new file. And paste. There you go. Quite simple, really. Fine. So let's save that. Save for web and devices. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go. I'm a big proponent of trying to get as light file size as possible. I don't like, these like 80, 90, 200 meg files you're downloading. I think it's too heavy and will put off your average user. So there's a few formats we can go through. JPEG is a pretty good one. You see it's 135K as a JPEG. However, I found PNG 8 or Ping 8 it gives you a little bit light. Oh no, Ping 8's more heavier. Look at that. So let's go for JPEG, and we'll save this. I'm going to make a new folder. Let's go into comic books. Doink. Into my Electricomics folder. And this is going to be new folder. I'm calling this strip Occupy Yourself. So you're going to see my email notifications come in. Occupy Yourself. And okay, I have a numbering system because it just helps my small adult brain. So this is going to be the first scene, but it's actually going to be the second slide that I do. So I'm going to call this 102. So scene 1, slide number 2. Doink. Fine. Now, what's going to be slide number 1? It's Christmas! So what I think I'm going to do is I want that to appear first, and then this is actually me. This is exactly, well, as far best as I could do. It's pretty much as accurate as I could look. Yes, I am that fat. Don't have too much Christmas pudding, kids. Fine. So to do that, so we're going to have a blank background. So I'm just going to do a select of that size. So I got the rough size. Now make sure you're on the image layer so it selects that full size, and go copy. Doink, and go new. Now, when you do new, well, we're in Photoshop. Did I not mention we're in Photoshop? We're in Photoshop right now. If you didn't know that, well, now you do know. Now, this is going to give you a canvas that is the right size for your blank background. So we go like this, and nice blank background. Go over here. I'm probably going to use this and reshape it a bunch of times. And deselect it. Now, I see I get all my lettering, all my different speech balloons are in different folders like this. That's just for me to understand what I'm doing. And I've selected the right folder, and I'm just going to drag it over. And here we are. It's Christmas! Okay, so let's save that with a blank background. I want a transparent background for that. JPEG, no good for transparent background. I was going for ping 24, and that comes out as a 15.83 kilobyte file, which is pretty light. Let's have a look what comes out ping 8. Half that size, and the quality seems pretty darn similar. I can't really see any difference. So why not just go for the smaller file size? So here we go. We're making this 101. Okay, we're rocking now. So next. So the way I break up these Electricomics is that for each beat, which is each new piece of data, I make a new slide. I make a tap to continue. So the next one is going to be, I think, this. Right? Yeah, no, not that speech balloon. We're going to start off with this speech balloon over here. But before we do that, let's grab the image. I think we're going to do the image plus... Now, if I was smart, what I would do, right, let's do this. Actually, you know what? Nope, wrong one. There we go. Let's grab all of this over here. And we... Et voila. Copy, Control P, new. Now, there's probably cack-handed, stupid ways of doing this because as a graphic designer, I'm pretty much self-taught. But if you see ways that I'm really not doing it so smart, just let me know. But I'm a big proponent of the only way I learn anything anyway is by doing stuff. Okay, I'm doing stuff without telling you what I'm doing. I'm sorry, I'm new to this. Fine, I just made a new blank layer because I want to get rid of all this background over here. So, made a new blank layer, and then on that layer I am selecting selecting everything I want to mask out, or I want to get rid of. And I go select inverse. I get my little paint bucket, blink, select to white, and click. Whoa! And now we have a nice clean white background. Deselect. But I think we want to have it with the speech balloon in here. So let's select, deselect. Let's drag that puppy over. Now, because we're going to have a little bit more room, there you go, I'm saying hi, I'm Ziegler Bacon. Because we're going to have a little bit more room, I'm going to have it go up a little bit higher, and also my Bond speech balloon go down a bit lower. But I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now we're up to, because this is going to be the second page, we're going to save this. Save a web and devices. And, okay, 35K as a ping. Let's see what is a JPEG. Oh, ping 8. Ping 8 wins. So there you go. Fine. And we're going to save this as 201. Again, if I'm not being clear, I apologize. When I get onto the next video, which is actually putting Electricomics together, you'll see what I'm doing more clearly. Fine. Now next up, let's use this one because I'm just kind of lazy. I don't want to keep making new files. I don't like mess. Okay, it's well, it drives my wife crazy. I apologize. So we're going to use this one over here, and we're going to drag it over. And it fits, but still a bit wide, so set this to pixels so I can see what I'm doing. Let's say 260. So let's change the width, canvas size to 260. I didn't screw it up. Well done, C. Okay. Save a web device. This is definitely going to be a ping 8. There's a nice... save and make this 202. So, come on. Now, this panel over here is going to be the third thing that goes on, so I'm just going to, you know what, maybe I'll get really smart and zoom into it. Yeah, there we go. And copy this bit, because that's all the bit we want. Edit, copy. Normally I'll do Control-C, but... trying to show you what I'm doing. Fine, so that's the one I did before. Get rid of that. Edit, paste. There's my smiling little face. Fine. So the next speech balloon we're going to add on, I think, yeah, let's do this next. And make this the third slide. There we go. Now, see, does it see this last speech balloon is a little bit higher, so it's going to be a bit wonky on the eye if I make this one lower, I think. So let's do, oh, one sec, Bob. Yeah. Let's have a look. Okay. Fine. I want to try and make it roughly the same height. Because you really got to think about how what the reader experience is going to be. You know what? I'm going to digress for a minute. The thinking things through from the user experience is the most important thing from basically anything. When you're planning a party, you're doing a comic book, or making a movie, you've got to think how the reader will react. Now, Electricomics has this really cool feature which they haven't put on the generator yet, where it's in Leah Moore's one that comes with it, called Sway, where you tilt your iPad and the background falls away and it's super cool, and then a new background flips in its place. And when I saw it, I loved it. I really desperately wanted to do it, and then it happened again. I got really annoyed with it because you know, it could just happen by accident. You tilting it. So while I think that's a really cool feature, I'm a bit more in the mind that we want to just make it as simple as possible. And don't do anything that will disrupt the user experience. Although, it's a great comic and I recommend everybody to read it. Well, I'm sure you have read it if you're watching this tutorial. So let's save this one. Let's probably ping 8 is going to be good there. Yeah, ping 8 is the smallest file size. And we go save. And now we're up to 203. Okay, this whole numbering system will sort of make sense by the time I actually do the Electricomics. Fine, I'm using this canvas to do the next one. Here we go. Over here. So woven devices and make it into 204. Sorry, yeah, simple adding has always been a bit tricky for me. And last but not least, we're going to do this panel. It's me trying to pull a few different expressions. If you ever get to know me, become friends, I use photo reference for everything I do, because I'm not really an artist. I just draw the comics because I don't want to pay somebody to draw comics when I can sort of do it myself. Because I'm not rich, and B, I'm sort of cheap that way. Oh, this is probably not gonna work. So I'm probably gonna make this file size a bit bigger. This canvas a bit bigger. Canvas size. Make this height. Let's make it 530. There you go. Also, it's probably good to make it bigger. Canvas. Let's make it. Wrong one. Always watch what you're doing, kids. Image file size. Canvas size, I should say. We'll make the width, let's make it 300, give us a little bit more breathing room there. Doink. Okay, so now we're going to get the speech balloon. Now, here's the question. How are we going to do this? You know how we're going to do this? We're going to do this as 2 speech balloons, I think. Yeah, we're going to do this one with the first slide and this one on the second slide. So, here's the way I'm going to do it anyway. Now, I like to have as few active elements on the page as possible, because this will be fine. Because for each time you build on a panel, you've got to repeat all the active elements. So I'm going to sort of cheat and then cut out and reuse the same panel. What am I talking about? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I'm inside my lettering folder, and we have these are the 2 speech balloons. Here's the tail, and here's the bit I do to white out the things separating the tail and the speech balloons. So let's get rid of this speech balloon here. Oh, wrong one. Doink. And I'm going to duplicate these layers and hide the original ones. Now let's get rid of this layer, which I blank things out. And let's move the tail up. So it's going to start off like the speech balloon is way up, and people are like, well, what's going on? Why is he doing it so high? But then they'll click the next button and they'll get it, maybe. I already made you say it's awful, aren't they? I'm going to surround my house with burning torches, screaming death to the heretic. If that happens to you kids, I would give in to whatever the screaming crowd is saying. Fine. Okay, let's save that one. And we keep it a blank background, doesn't really make a difference. Let's see what JPEG will be. JPEG will be, still heavier, but doesn't really matter. Fine. Make this 205. 205. Now, instead of adding onto this panel, when I come to, I'm just going to replace it with this. Again, hopefully this will make sense when we get to Electricomics the comic. Fine, and then the final panel, the final element, I should say, for this page is over here. Drag that puppy over. Now I could, well, that's not right. See, there's a little bit of white bump there. Let's get rid of that. What's that from? must be from here. You got it. Yeah, it's over here. So it's probably in this layer, which is my whiteout layer. There it goes. I found it. Now again, these are really minor things, but it does make the user experience much smoother. 207. Okay. Fine. So that's that page done. And now these next pages are really going to be kind of complicated. So have a look. That's page 3. Where's page 2? So this is going to be the next page. And I'm probably going to go back to the Manga Studio file for this and white out a bunch of these backgrounds, which is going to take forever. So I'm not going to bother showing it to you. Fine. Okay, that's the first tutorial video. I'm just going to go ahead and make all the images now, and then the next video is going to be, we're actually going to be Electricomic, and you're going to be with me for the entire process. And if you have any questions, go just email me. Oh, my website, www.biblicalcomics.com, with an X at the end, not CS, Biblical Comics. A bunch of free Electricomics there. Go ahead and check them out. Go and check out my other comics. If you want to go and buy my comics, you can buy my comics. I won't stop you. It's in fact, buy often and buy early and buy often is my suggestion to you. Thanks so much. Send me any feedback you want, any questions, and if I can answer it, I will answer it. Toodle pip. Bye.